Welcome to Let's Talk Horses. I'm your host, Jason Vance. Joining me today is Betsy Greene, a University of Vermont Extension Horse Specialist. And Betsy, you have recently been working on a PSA on horses on the road and safety. Let's take a listen to that PSA.
With more than 9 million horses in the U.S., it's very likely you'll meet one on the road. Be alert and be cautious. Horses react unpredictably, so look to the rider for guidance, follow arm signals, and keep your cool. Motorists should slow down and pass wide around the horse. Riders stay in single file on the right-hand side of the road. Drivers don't honk the horn or rev the engine. Mutual respect may save a life. Brought to you by the Vermont Horse Council, Vermont Farm Bureau, and University of Vermont Extension.
So it looks like those groups in Vermont have come up with a really good campaign on horse safety on the road. How did all those organizations work together?
Well, there were overlaps in membership. It's a small state in Vermont, and we have a lot of issues with, just as everybody does, horses on the road it can be very dangerous, and dangerous for the horses, but also dangerous for the cars. And so we thought if we can get a PSA put together that educates both the horse rider and the driver, because sometimes people are on either side of that equation are not doing what they're supposed to, and they can put the other into very severe danger.
Now, this was put together for Vermont, but it's really got a national scope, doesn't it?
Yeah, the Vermont Horse Council, Vermont Farm Bureau, and then also, of course, University of Vermont Extension work together to do this at a state level, but I definitely wanted to make sure that we also had it for a national level, because it's something that everybody, every horse person deals with. And so we definitely said, let's do it national, and it fits state as well. And any time that we can get a chance to get this information out, because a lot of people are not anymore, not familiar with how horses behave. And sometimes the drivers think if we speed up, it'll help the rider, when in fact it could spook the horse instead.
Which, talking about some of the things that were mentioned in the public service announcement, for the riders, talk to us a little bit about what they should do when they're riding on a road and meeting a vehicle.
Well, so if you think about riding, that's just like on a bicycle, you ride with traffic. And so you're riding on the right side, you should be single file, you should be along the edge, you should have bright clothing, and you also should make sure that your horse is trained for this to the best of your extent. Don't go ride on a busy road the first time out. And also instead of just saying, why are they rushing by me, tell the cars by hand signals. And whether it's a slow down, just like the bike stops, left, right, stop, sign, arm signs, you can actually guide the traffic to help both of you. Because a lot of drivers don't know.
Right, which really, it's just as much the driver's responsibility as the riders to make sure that this is a safe situation.
Actually, in many states, it's the law that the horse has the right of way, because the horse and rider have less control than the vehicle because of the nature of a prey animal that could spook at any time if it's afraid for its safety.
Now, as far as road safety with horses and riders, what advice do you have for people who may be going out on the road with a horse?
Well, as I had mentioned earlier, always be aware of the dangers that you're entering just by riding on the road. Try not to go when you have slick or unsafe footing. Try to have your horse trained on less busy roads. Maybe ride with somebody that has a much more well-seasoned horse, so that horse, the newer horse, can gain some confidence from a calm partner, riding partner. And keep your distance and communicate with the drivers, and don't do something silly like ride in the middle of the road to try and slow them down, because then you just start an antagonistic relationship, which usually the horse will lose.
Well, Betsy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks. Great to be here.
That's Betsy Greene, University of Vermont Extension Horse Specialist. She's been our guest on Let's Talk Horses. Thank you so much for listening. Tune in next week for another edition of Let's Talk Horses.